how you doing? Everybody doing all right? I haven't done these in a while, so hopefully all of these will work. Here's one of my favorites, if he'll do it today. My little duck. Yeah, his name's Gertrude. What aren't you supposed to say?
If you were phony.
Phony?
Oh, if you were a real magician, you can make it disappear.
Say it again?
If you were a real magician, you can't make it disappear. Whoa! It's in your pocket.
It's in my pocket.
Yeah, I see it.
I actually wanted to be a fighter pilot. And when in high school, I started out with junior ROTC. That program being very, very strict, I decided that I didn't want to be a fighter pilot just because of the regiment and everyone has to look the same and act the same and be the same. So I really delved into the arts with music and trombone, marching band, show choir, theater, and really enjoyed that. So I thought I would go into music and become a trombonist on Broadway. So that's really what I was aiming to do initially, just play my trombone the rest of my life. If I look back, I see a transition where in the elementary, I was trying to become something, and I didn't know what I wanted to become, and there wasn't a lot of opportunities for me to express myself in elementary school. It was a very 60s approach to education where you sat in a chair and you listened to a teacher teach and then you had to take tests, and I don't thrive in that kind of world. And then in junior high school, where I was bullied quite a lot because of my name Rocky, and actually went to junior high afraid many days because I was going to get beat up or challenged to fight because of my name. And I'm thinking to myself, is this really what I have to face as a child? But after I was highly influenced by my band director and the work that he put into my life, I decided that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to pour my life into kids like he did and help kids succeed in their passions and in their dreams like he helped me. The more I started thinking outside the box and started to develop my creative side, the happier I became and the more I felt that I could do for others. And those two really drove me towards education and trying to deliver an education system that was far superior than what I felt I had received growing up. That was my goal. I didn't want any child to feel like that they were having to be in lockstep with anyone else. I want every child to use their gifts to the greatest potential and have that outlet to do it. I like the Star Trek statement by Spock that says, everything's impossible until it's not. And I want all of our children to be able to dream big and explore the things that are going to make them successful. And that's the only way, in my opinion, that we're going to thrive as a society, if we cultivate creativity rather than press it down, which I think is happening right now with standardized testing and a one-size-fits-all model of education reform. When I moved to Indiana to become band choir director at Boone Grove Junior Senior High School, I started to realize that I needed to dream big and get kids really excited. So one of the first things I did was contact the Indianapolis Colts to see if I could have our kids march a halftime show during one of the preseason football games, and lo and behold, they said, yeah, bring your kids out, let's do it. And so I took a small band of about 40 kids to the RCA Dome, and we marched a show for the Indianapolis Colts preseason game. That led to doing a halftime show for the Chicago Bears, and that led to going to the Peach Bowl, and that led to taking my kids to the Bahamas for a marching band competition. So I found out pretty quickly that if you want to dream dreams, you have to be willing to pay the price to make those dreams come true. But it really got kids excited about not only band, but doing things outside of the box. Well, when I was band director at Boone Grove, I quickly realized that my principal was probably spending less time at school than I was and was making twice as much money, which I thought, well, that's kind of weird. So why am I doing this? So I actually, and I say that tongue-in-cheek, I really was interested in the administration side of it the more I worked in the schools. So I started taking classes. And in 3 or 4 years after starting that, I received my principal's license and continued working towards my doctorate to get my superintendent's license. And I found out pretty quickly that that was the level in which you could really make some positive changes on a global scale for kids and for teachers. Growing up, my mom and dad were very loving parents, but very poor. But we had a loving home, but we didn't get to do much. And I remember in the 1st or 2nd grade, I received a vinyl album of the music from Disney World. And I just played that over and over and over again and just fell in love with the songs, fell in love with the music, and said to myself, if I ever get a chance to go to Disney World, I'm going to go to Disney World because it sounds like a wonderful place. I never could get to do that as a child. And so when I finally had a family of my own, I took my first trip to Disney World and it felt like just a kid all over again. And one of my favorite movies growing up was The Wizard of Oz. Every time that was on, I made sure that I was in front of the TV to watch it because I just enjoyed the storyline, I enjoyed the music. To me, it's a combination of the music and the fantasy and the imagination. I thrive in a world where you can think of anything that you want to be, think of anything you want to do. I believe everything is possible. And those are the stories, those are the things that drew me to The Wizard of Oz, that draws me to Disneyland and Disney World. Well, when I came here as superintendent at West Lafayette Community School Corporation in 2007, I realized pretty quickly I was in a very unique situation where I had a very high academic school district in which to participate in. And the more I did this job, the more I realized the tighter the stranglehold, this regiment, going back to my ROTC days, I was feeling like I was getting into this regiment of one size fits all. We all have to look the same and act the same, and standardized testing was expanding, and the legislation stranglehold was just zapping the life out of the educational fun and the educational excitement that we want in our school district. So in November 2011, I thought it was time that we consider challenging that legislative model and telling the story of public schools. And I thought, boy, it would be great if we could tell that story in a documentary. So I brought a great team together with the school district, started raising money, and over a 3-year period, we put together I think, a very well documented story on what is happening in public education, hearing voices of teachers and what is happening to them in the field of education, bringing in experts to talk about what we really need to be doing to have a world-class education in the state of Indiana, and exposing, if you will, this one-size-fits-all, this very regimented stranglehold of legislation that are on all public schools, and trying to break out of that box so that we can create an education system at every community where every child has the freedom to think, the freedom to inquire, the freedom to question, the freedom to learn in their own way without it being mandated by people 100 miles away from the classroom. I want to return trust and responsibility to our teachers in public schools who should be making the decisions for the children, not some legislator in a state house. So Rise Above the Mark premiered in Lafayette in December of 2013 to over 1,000 people, and it's going very strong to get the message out and tell the story of Indiana public schools. Therefore affirm you as graduates of West Lafayette Junior Senior High School. Congratulations. I've always said it's not a matter of IQ, but it's a matter of I will. And the people who really get things done don't necessarily, if you will, have the highest IQ, but they're the go-getters. Those are people that don't accept no for an answer. They're the ones that get up and say, let's make this happen and let's keep working on it until we do. And that's the thing that I really want to make sure we help our kids get, is making sure that they never give up. One of my favorite lines in the Rocky Balboa movie is, it doesn't matter how many times that you get knocked down, what counts is how many times you get back up. And that to me is very important.